Hi everyone, welcome back. I wanted to sit down and give you an in-depth talk about all of my thoughts on costume college. I came away with a notepad full of notes on all of the different pieces of it, and I really wanted to share them. It's hard to get into something that you don't know what to expect, so I wanted to share with you my experience, and hopefully it will help you have a really great costume college experience in the future. This is my second time recording this. The first time I recorded all these intros and outros, everything was blurry, so here we are, take two. So when I sat down and filmed all of my thoughts, it ended up being about an hour and a half's worth of edited footage. So I wanted to break this into a little series. So welcome to part one of my thoughts on costume college. In this video, we're going to talk about whether or not you should go with a friend or whether or not you should go alone, as well as some packing essentials, things definitely not to leave at home. I also wanted to talk a little bit about how to find the right balance for your trip. The balance between costuming or not costuming, the balance between workshops and classes, that sort of. Without too much more ado, let's buckle in for this first video. Let's get into it. All right, to start off with, one of the first things that really impacted me was the fact that I went by myself. It was really interesting to be alone on this. Now, I have to say, first of all, a shout out to all of the friends that I made while I was there. They made my trip so much more fun. So, overall, you do not have to go to costume college with a friend. There were actually quite a few people that I met that went by themselves. And additionally, there were lots of people that either came in friend groups or in pairs. I think the biggest thing that impacted me going by myself, and this is something you'll have to consider if you want to go, is that all of the downtime felt very lonely. I'm a person who always has an audiobook on in the background. I'm very happy to be by myself, but in a situation where I wasn't at home, I wasn't comfortable, it often felt a little bit lonely. Toward the end of the conference, when I had made a few friends and I knew that we were gonna go out to dinner together or we were gonna meet up at a thing later, that helped ease it a lot. But there were some times where I really just felt lonely by myself. I don't think you should let going to costume college by yourself prevent you from going. The first day I was in line to check in and there was a woman in front of me and she very quickly spotted that I was a newbie and was super quick to say, hey, I'm so-and-so, these are my friends, blah, whatever. And then she made a point to connect with me at the pool party later and introduce me to some other newbies. So a shout out to her for sort of ushering me into it very well. But I also think the first day is gonna require a little bit of bravery. Don't be afraid to reach out to anybody in line. Everybody that I talked to was kind, welcoming, loved. Obviously, we're all there for costuming stuff. If you can talk to someone about what they're wearing, it's a really easy way to bridge the gap there and break the ice. Yeah, I just think that going by yourself really just requires probably just an additional level of bravery. But again, don't be afraid. People are really kind. They're there to help. All of the staff is super nice. Everyone's willing to point you in the right direction. No one wants you to have a bad time. So if you're willing to, especially on that first day, just put yourself out there just a little bit and introduce yourself to a lot of people. The rest of the week just kind of flows and you run into people in classes and stuff like that. So our next section, I wanted to talk about things not to forget, or definitely things to pack that you may not have considered packing. I fully intended this list to be way longer than it was, but I think it's very situational. There are three major things that I think if I had forgotten to pack, I would have felt really, well, and some of them I did forget to pack, which is why I'm telling you to bring them. These were sort of the three major things that I would say you probably cannot do without. Everything outside of this is so situational. It has to do with what costumes you're bringing, if you're bringing costumes, you know, all of those little details that pertain to you as a person. I would say just these were the blanket items that I thought were really integral to pretty much everyone. So assuming the first item, assuming you are bringing costumes, I would say pack hangers. Hold on, I will show you what I brought. I packed about 5 of these. These are the like velour velvety hangers. They're very thin, so they packed really nicely, and these heads twist. These are some of my favorite hangers for costuming. They didn't take up a lot of room in my suitcase, which is great. I would highly recommend packing something like this. The hangers in the hotel are the classic hotel hangers. They are wooden, they're slippery, and I had a really difficult time getting my historical clothes to really want to sit on them nicely. They do give you quite a few, but if you were sharing a room with someone, there would not have been enough hangers. Additionally, again, it was really hard to get all of my really slippery linen silk things to hang on them. So definitely pack hangers. If you were just bringing modern clothes and you're not costuming at all, I think you would have plenty of storage, but I was so thankful that I threw like 4 or 5 of these in my bag, and they were absolutely, what's the word? They were absolutely necessary. So bring really good hangers. Next up is a water bottle. I completely forgot to bring my water bottle. Now, they're very kind at the hotel, and they have little glasses of water, little plastic glasses and water stations all over down by the conference center. It's very dry. If you're from a humid place, it is going to be incredibly dry for you in California. Additionally, water bottles from the hotel or from the Starbucks in the lobby were like $3 or $4.50 a piece, which is ridiculous. Also, after a while, I felt really bad using all the plastic cups, and environmentally that just started to feel really gross. Obviously drink water while you were there. If you are using the plastic cups, that's great if you don't have room to pack a water bottle, but I definitely missed mine when I didn't have it, so don't forget your water bottle. And lastly, the last thing that I wish I had done more of, and I will talk a little bit more about this in a different section, but with snacks. Food at the hotel is tricky. I will get more into that in the my actual discussion of the hotel later, but oftentimes you are running around between classes, you're going from bargain basement to class to whatever. I would highly recommend bringing snacks, multiple different kinds of snacks, things that you want to eat in the morning, things that you want to eat in the afternoon. I don't know your snacking habits, but I had a little set of granola bars that just saved my life. They were the perfect thing to run in, grab, eat really quickly on my way from one thing to another, and I never really had to worry about the fact that I didn't have food or I didn't have time to like sit down and have a full meal. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about was balance. Seems like a very odd thing to bring up, but I felt like I got the balance of my trip off slightly. You really want to think about when you go how much time, and you may not know this on the first trip. This is something that I learned on my first trip, and I'm going to adjust going into next year. I feel like I spent a lot of time torn between being able to go to a class and getting ready and putting on costumes for events. They do block off time in the schedule. Usually most classes end by 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's a couple of hours. Usually most events start around 7 or 8. So they give you a couple of hours to go back to your room and change for the costumed events in the evening. But there was one day where I costumed in the middle of the day, and I really felt like it just put a complete wrench in all of my plans. I wasn't able to sign up for more workshops. Yeah, it just felt like I was constantly torn back and forth between wanting to get ready, wanting to take another class, that sort of thing. So be prepared on your first trip. Maybe you will get that balance wrong, but also really think about, what are you there for? Are you there to go to classes and learn, or is this really a chance for you to wear your historical costumes or cosplay, and you're just gonna sacrifice the classes a little bit? It was a balance that I don't feel like I got right this year. Additionally, the balance between workshops and lectures. Both workshops and lectures were great. Workshops, or I think what they're now calling limited classes, have a limited number of people that can attend. Often there's an additional fee associated with them because you get supplies. The balance between how many workshop classes you go to and how many lecture or open classes you go to. I really feel like I wanted to take many more workshop classes than I did. I only ended up taking one. I did miss out on signing up for the workshops. There was a computer glitch this year, and so I just didn't get registered as early as I wish that I had. So if you are really interested in registering for workshops, you make sure that you have that date set in your phone. You have an alarm set for the time that you need to log on and get on there. I will be doing that next year. I really feel like I missed out on some really interesting in-depth classes by not putting more of an effort into getting into those workshops. Thank you for joining me for part 1. I hope you really enjoyed that information. Next week, we're going to be covering topics like freshman orientation, volunteering, the gala, stuff like that. If that sounds interesting, please hit the subscribe button. I see there are 500 of you after I got back from costume college, and I'm completely thrilled. I am trying to hit a goal of 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button for more content like this. I hope you're all safe and happy wherever you are, and I will see you really soon. Bye.